Hey team, welcome to another video of Doing, Being, Becoming, where we aim to inform, impact, influence and inspire. My name is Asisipo and I am a registered occupational therapist working within the field of mental health. This is actually my 7th year working as a licensed OT, which is very exciting. This channel aims to exist to promote awareness, education, insight regarding occupational therapy, the ways in which we work, the ways in which we intervene, the different areas and fields in which we intervene, and also keeping in mind my special interest, which is mental health, and just providing you with the skills and tools and insights that will help you to live a better life because you have better mental health. So if that sounds like, oh my gosh, what's that about? Oh, I'm so interested. You know what to do. It's the SUBSCRIBE button down there. Okay. And speaking of that, since my last video, we've had 11 new subscribers. This is shine to you, bright in the corner where you are. Welcome to the O team, and I'm hoping that you will find it very fulfilling being a part of this family, being a part of this channel. This video is inspired by a conversation that I had with a cousin of mine, and it's something that I'm very sure is a real reality for a lot of us, with it being January, with it being returning to school, as some are waiting for the results or getting enrolled for the first time. Some are returning to varsity and you're not quite sure how you're going to make it. So this video is exactly about that. It's about sharing my story, my testimony about how I made it through my undergrad and also through my postgrad, this year being the final year of my postgrad, and how I funded my studies. So let's get into it. So obviously, because I am an occupational therapist, I did my undergrad in occupational therapy at the University of Stellenbosch. So anyone who would describe me, especially my family, anyone's family would describe me as somebody who's quite indecisive. I know my brother would jump at that opportunity first to say, I just can't make up her mind. But having come to learn myself, I realized that it's only with the little things that I struggle, to make decisions. Like, what are we going to eat today? Where are we going to go today? Oh, should I wear these pants or those pants, But with the big things, which is weird, with the big things, I'm very quick to make a decision and I stand and stick to that decision. So one such big decision like that was about where I want to study. So I've always known that I wanted to study at Stellenbosch University. Marty's grad, shout out. I've always known that I want to study at Stellenbosch University because it resembles the small town that I come from. I come from a small town I come from a small town by the name of Uitenhage. It's not Uitenhage. I come from a small town called Uitenhage, now called Garega, but for a sentimental value, I will always call it Uitenhage. Very small town in the Eastern Cape. So when I thought about which university I wanted to go to, I was like, I want to go to Stellenbosch because it's got that small community feel enough that resembles Uitenhage, but at the same time it's close enough to the city. So if you want to experience Cape Town, and be a city girl, I can do exactly that. And also not forgetting, the prestige that comes with going to an Ivy League university such as Stellenbosch University. So that's why I wanted to go to SU. And before I even knew I wanted to study OT. So SU came first and I was like, okay, now that I know where I want to go, what do I want to study? So at first I thought I wanted to go into psychology because I've always been interested in mental health. But as I went through the prospectus, I realized that OT sounds more broad, more flexible, more fun. So let's go with that. So that's how I ended up deciding on studying occupational therapy at Stellenbosch University. So for those who know, Stellenbosch University had this initiative called Recruitment Camp, and it was basically a drive or an initiative that aimed to create equality and equity for previously disadvantaged groups in South Africa. And as a result of that, people who went there commonly called it Black Camp. So when I was in matric, I got the privilege of going to Black Camp, which was fun. And after going to Black Camp, I was like, okay, now I know that this is where I'm going to go, because I was just so impressed by them trying to impress me. So that's how I ended up going to Stellenbosch University. And because then I went to recruitment camp, then I got a recruitment bursary. So a recruitment bursary is basically, obviously, Stellenbosch University's attempt to try and get previously disadvantaged groups into the university by saying, we'll pay for your registration and your tuition, which obviously begs say less. So that's how I made it through to my undergrad. And then I also got a bursary from my church, from my local church. Shout out to Assemblies of God, Kylie Cha. Love y'all so much. And I think that's probably why, my mom didn't actually think that, she probably thought that I was okay because I had, these two bursaries. However, despite me having the recruitment bursary and the bursary from church, they still didn't cover my accommodation, my food, and all the other small expenses that they don't tell you about when going to university. So I remember calling her and be like, girl, I need some cash, because as much as, like I said, as much as, I had those two bursaries, it really wasn't, covering everything. And as a result, I was accumulating student credit and student debt that I was just like, I don't want anything to do with this. And I don't know, if it's also because my sister was also in varsity at that time, and she was starting to get to a place where now she's starting to get student work. So, some of the things that she's starting to cover for herself. So because of, me kind of having foundational bursaries and, them probably having a picture of her, maybe they thought that I was okay. Or maybe they also thought, but as long as it's schooling, it doesn't matter, I don't know. But for a variety of reasons, my parents were just like, okay, bye. So, and I especially remember during first year, I only got 200 Rand for pocket money, and because I wasn't getting money for food, and I didn't want to accumulate student credit and buy food on credit, I was like, that makes no sense to me. The food till today, but at the end of the year, I'm gonna have to, have debt for food that I ate. It just didn't make sense to me. So I was like, hey, we'll last it, we'll see how it goes. So then I had to kind of, ration that 200 Rand for a little bit of food and some toiletries at some point in time. Which, as you can imagine, in 2015, even then, was not gonna get me anywhere. So so that's how I kind of made it through, first year. And then I remember sometime in second year, I was just like, what, I'm not gonna keep worrying about this, because as much as, I don't have enough to cover everything, and as much as I do have these, bursaries, it's still not enough for me to be able to see my, what do they say? Because if you don't have your student debt cleared, then you're unable to see your results. So I was one of those as well. So if I wanted to see any of my results, I had to go to the OT department and ask the administrator to show me my marks, because I had outstanding debt. So I was, at some point in second year, I just surrendered. I was like, what, God, at the end of the day, I'm here and I'm Zungafundi, come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe you've brought me this far to leave me. So at that point, I just surrendered. I was like, at the end of the day, I'm here. I'm going to study and I'm going to pass. So it's going to happen. So let me just relax. So at that point, I just, surrendered. But still, you apply for bursaries, you look for opportunities. I remember at some point I was one of those who was camping outside of the bursary office. And shout out to Mr. Souls. I think everybody who's gone through a bursary struggle at Stellenbosch University would laud Mr. Souls as one of the heroes, and I am just the same. Shout out to you. What an excellent man. So I was one of those, camping outside bursary office, looking for student opportunities. And unfortunately for me, I was one of the people who formed part of the missing middle, right? So I wasn't disadvantaged enough to qualify for a NSFAS bursary, but at the same time, I wasn't affording enough, or my parents could not afford to finance my studies. So I had to just be in that missing middle and in no man's land and just have faith that something is going to come together. So I surrendered and I was like, Lord, let me just, and obviously even then, I'm still like cautious, right? Because even though now I have like this faith that it's going to come together, but I'm still cautious that I can't just, be irresponsible and just load credits and just buy coffee every single day and buy croissants every single day and eat a tramazini every single day, So I still have to be cautious and mindful about how I'm actually, spending, this money. Fast forward to third year. So it's now 2017, and I think we were preparing for Gidi Kapradawam, and we were at Roland's. I remember it was June, we were at Roland's, and I don't know why, I just decided to check my emails during the school holiday. I was checking my emails, and as I'm checking, I see that I have an email, and it says, congratulations, you've been awarded the Helensburgh Trust bursary. And I was thinking, whoa. Number one, whoa, because I didn't apply for this bursary. Number two, because it literally covers everything. It would cover the remainder of tuition costs, it would cover accommodation, it covers the food, it covers books and everything, like everything. So everything that I hadn't covered before, it literally covers the remainder of that. So now I'm freaking out, outside Roland's in the car, and obviously I was with my mom and my sister, so I share with them, and then we have like this, mini moment, and just like, wow, So actually, this video should be titled "How God Funded My Studies," because literally, He did. From a recruitment bursary, which wasn't my own, to the bursary from church, which also wasn't of my own doing, to this Helensburgh Trust bursary, which is even more out of my own doing. I really don't know how that located me, but it did, and bless whoever was in the finance or bursary office who identified me and put me forward. I don't know how it happened. Bless whoever did whatever to make me get that bursary. And from there, that covered all of my student debt, covered all of my student requirements. And I remember then, even in fourth year, that now from being in a deficit, now I was in a position of at least like every month I would get a stipend of 1,800 rand. Now I could actually buy healthy food. Now I could actually, buy healthy food to the point where I can even afford student medical aid that was able to get me prescription spectacles. So it's just like an incredible way, that God came through for me. And shout out to the Helensburgh family. I don't know who they are, but shout out to them and their trust that was able to make me an occupational therapist today. And you would think that it ends there, but it doesn't end there, because like I said at the beginning, now I'm at the end of my postgraduate studies. I'm studying. I'm at the end of my master's in public health qualification, and even with that, I went in, and obviously now I'm in a better financial position, because now at least I'm working as an OT, so I'm at least able to finance some parts of it, right? So I register for MPH, and okay, so now it's starting to go well. But then anybody who has studied a postgrad would know that as much as undergrad bursaries are scarce, postgrad bursaries are scarcer. I don't know if it's because they think it's not necessary, or because they think we should be working by now, or Ganye. I don't know what it is, but postgrad bursary opportunities are so scarce. So I experienced then that scarcity, and but at the same time, because I was like, what, God, I know you've done it before. I've seen you do it before. If you did it before, he can do it again. If he did it before, he can do it again. That's tight ribbit. Anyway, so I was like, God, if you did it before, you can do it again. You would not put this desire on my heart. And I know that you value education, because in your word, in the book of Proverbs, you say, seek wisdom. You say, seek knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Those triplets, you're not opposed to those triplets. Therefore, I know that if we seek these things, and if we put our efforts and our hands to work, then you will definitely come through and you're faithful. So that was the story. And then I think it was fine. Beginning of first year, okay, cool. Managed to register, did all the things. Beginning of second year, things were different. I think at the end of 2021, I made a video about how I moved to Cape Town, and because I got this excellent opportunity. Anyway, I left that job, but that's another story. So because now I had left that job, so things were different financially. So now I was in a different financial position. So now registering and coming into second year of my master's now became the challenge, because I had the student outstanding debt from first year, which hadn't been cleared. Now I had to register for second year, but now I can't register for second year with outstanding debt, and also how am I going to pay my registration fees? So I'm so grateful to my mom, who was willing to partner with me in creating a plan of how we're actually gonna go about this. And for every month up until recently, she's faithful to kind of basically stand surety for me, so that I can't just be in the system. So since I get a little sugar between her and myself, just to make sure that I am registered. But even then, I was like, God, I know that this arrangement that we have made, it's a temporary arrangement, because like I said, if you've done it before, you will certainly do it again. And indeed, sometimes miracles and breakthroughs come all at once, but sometimes they come in progressions. So at the end of March, then I got a position at the university, working as a graduate lecturer assistant. And because of that position, then I was able to feed some of that money into my student account and reducing my student debt that way. But how it all culminated is I was visiting my sister. I kid you not, he did it again. Andy! Yazi! Actually, shout out to my sister, because I actually didn't piece this together. But every time, such news breaks, she's always there. So shout out to you. But like a star. So this time I was visiting my sister, and again I checked my emails. And as I check my emails, it says, congratulations, you have been awarded the Ada and Bertie Levenstein bursary. And shout out to Awelugu that I don't know, that are just coming through for me. Shout out to you for being angels of the Lord. Bless you and bless you. And I'm just like, yes, God, I knew that you would do it. So now, I'm standing, I'm standing here only because you made a way. You made a way. When our backs were against the wall and it looked as if it was over, yes, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you move mountains. Hey, you cause the walls to fall with your power. Perform miracles. There is nothing that's impossible. And we're standing here only because you made a way. So now we are standing here having second degree financed through an unknown angel, through a bursary that this one I did actually apply for, but it's having gone through applications where you apply, ungafumani response, you apply, and then you don't know where it ends. Some reply and actually tell you, unfortunately, because of this and this, you are unsuccessful. And I think, so I stand here just to say that, number one, there's a message on Stellenbosch University's website, and it says that let no child not study just because you don't actually have the means to do so. And I'm paraphrasing, and I completely agree. Let not financial need be the reason that you exclude yourself from wanting a better future for yourself. So that's not to say, but let's be irresponsible in how we pursue support and financing. But that's to say that just because you don't have means of studying and financing your studies today doesn't mean that you shouldn't study, or doesn't mean that that's going to be the narrative forever. It certainly means that go forward, register, study, rally whoever you can rally. And like I said, that I'm fortunate that in my corner, I had my church, I had my mom who assisted me in different areas of that. I had myself also, that at some point I actually worked to be able to finance some of that. But the greater chunk of that, came from bursaries. And I'd like to say that it literally came from the Lord. So don't grow weary in doing good. Do not be discouraged. Let you not having a means of financing your studies, let that not be the reason for you to sit down. Let that not be the reason for you to sit down. If it means, going to a different university that's maybe more affordable, if it means going to a university that's going to provide the financial backing and support that is necessary for you, then do that. If it means going abroad, then do that, because like it says that when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord raises the standard. So sometimes what we perceive as our lack and what we perceive as our need is God actually wanting to show up and to show off. And I'm speaking like that because that's what I found to be true in my life. So unfortunately, I can't speak any other language. I can't say any other thing. I can't attribute any of the glory to anybody besides the Lord, because I have seen it being the Lord. The Lord has done it finally. For me, it's the Lord that has done it. So I can't attribute it to anything else. And so like I'm saying, take the practicals from what I'm saying, right? Is that yes, applying for bursaries in time and properly to position yourself to get them is definitely going to help you. finding opportunities around you that are going to actually support you in your academic journey is definitely necessary as well. But also, don't neglect the faith. Don't neglect having faith. Don't neglect persevering. Don't neglect persevering, because if you notice that in my story, it's always the penultimate year that the breakthrough comes. So imagine if I had, said to myself, okay, well, I only have a criminal bursary, it's not enough to cover everything, let me sit down. I wouldn't be an OT today. You wouldn't be watching this video. If I had said, hey, I don't know how I'm going to finance everything, so let me not register for my master's. So sometimes, yes, our, human knowledge and planning helps, but sometimes we really just need to have faith. We really do need to have faith, because also in Hebrews it says that without faith it is impossible to please God. And sometimes, God wants to see that we actually trust Him, that we trust Him with our finances, that we trust Him with our dreams, that we know that lento that I'm actually wanting to pursue, God wants it for me more than I actually want it for myself. If we trust Him enough to be a good father, then we will know that. So trust Him as a good father, that whatever He has put in your heart, whatever He has put for you to pursue, that He will bless that He will make a way for that He goes ahead of us. He prepares a way. He's a way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Trust Him to be a way maker. If you have your own testimony of how, God came through for you, or however you managed to get yourself through any level of study, please add that to the comments. Let's encourage each other. Let's encourage somebody who's really thinking that, this dream that they have of wanting to get themselves out of poverty, of wanting to, improve their life, to improve the lives of their families, that to let them know that it really is not impossible, that, really great things do come out of, dark places. So yeah, to summarize, that is how I managed to, fund my studies. That, behind it all, that the umbrella and the foundation of it all is the Lord. It really is, God who saw it through. But for those, who are, carnally minded, it's, going to a university that helped me, or that had, funding opportunities, for my situation, that had funding opportunities for, a person like me, that's number one. And then secondly is, applying to all of the bursaries, and don't grow tired, because you're not going to necessarily get the first one. You're going to need to apply all the time. Don't grow weary. Always keep your eye out on, what is opening, what is available. That's number two. Secondly is rallying the support of, the people around you. Hopefully if you are blessed, to have that, and in whatever capacity. And like I said, it's not always, for them to financially speak for you, but sometimes it's just, for them to stand surety for you. Like my mom, who was able to, stand surety for me. And then the fourth thing is working. And that is the unfortunate reality that for a lot of us, but also it builds resilience, it builds character, because in my undergrad I was working as a data capturer in the OT department, and now in my postgrad I worked as a GLA. So working, putting your own hands to work, the Lord blesses work. And also, the Bible also says that faith without works is dead. So as much as this whole video is a proponent, for faith and encourages to have faith, but also remembering that faith without works is dead. So, it says that, if you have faith as little as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move, and it will surely move. But also, in that place of faith, let's also be collaborators. That's what it is. Let us be, collaborators with God in, helping the miracles to take place in our lives. So that is how I managed to fund my studies. That's how God funded my studies. Like I said earlier, and I will repeat again, please share this to anybody who is in a position and needs this encouragement. Please share your own story in the comments below. Subscribe, like. Let's continue to grow the team. Until the next video, continue to do your best to be